Hey folks, welcome back to Ndaba Africa. What you've just witnessed here on the 5th of December 2020 from Cloetesville, however you pronounce that, to Stellenbosch. Of course, that's a suburb of Stellenbosch, so it's a march for Cape Independence organized by the Cape Independence Advocacy Group, an organization led by Phil Craig. And this group brought an umbrella group of organizations together, including the Freedom Front Plus, the Cape Exit Movement, the Brown People's Movement. I'm sure I got that wrong. I mispronounced it. It's an Afrikaans name. And a number of other groups came together to participate in a peaceful march to rally for support for Cape independence. And we're talking about the independence or secession of the Western Cape from South Africa. Now, what you may have noticed in that brief video to start this analysis off was well-behaved, respectful, polite, considerate, and law-abiding citizens. And what you may also have noticed from that video is a very diverse group of citizens. So whatever the lamestream, fake stream, so-called mainstream media choose to present to you, whether that's Al Jazeera or The Guardian or The New York Times or The Washington Post or SABC, ENCA, whatever they choose to present to you, you see unaltered footage that was delivered as the event occurred, and it was sent from South Africa from participants. That particular video shows you black, white, colored South Africans marching together peacefully in a lawful fashion, not destroying state property like the EFF on the 16th of October in Senegal when they smashed rubbish bins, concrete rubbish bins, ripped down street signs, and left the center of town a total mess. Here you see law-abiding citizens not leaving their rubbish all over the place, wearing masks, respecting the virus. Social distancing, maybe not so good, but it is a march, difficult to maintain that. And supposedly the mask works. That's what we're told. That's the fib they tell us anyway. So what we've just witnessed here, ladies and gentlemen, is law-abiding citizens in the Western Cape of South Africa who respect the law and requested to make this march, follow the guidelines. By the way, the organization was limited to 500 participants. Unlike the Economic Freedom Fighters who rocked up at Brackenfell when a judge authorized 100 EFF supporters to arrive and protest outside the Brackenfell High School while students are taking their examinations, authorized 100 people to show up. No, what we saw in Brackenfell was somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 armed thugs showing up with pungas, those are machetes, and knob carries, those are the wooden clubs with the big knob at the end that could crack skulls open. So pungas, knob carries, and golf clubs in order to threaten and intimidate the residents, the colored and white residents of Brackenfell. That's what we saw from the EFF, who busted in their supporters until they ran into the South African Police Service. And then they ran away. And they ran away so very fast. Like brave Sir Robin, they bravely ran away. Anyway, that is a stark contrast between the conduct of the Economic Freedom Fighters, who have terrorized and damaged 44 clicks locations around South Africa with their domestic terrorist activity, and the Economic Freedom Fighters in Senegal, who destroyed state property, tearing down street signs, and also damaging rubbish bins and leaving the rubbish all over the streets. And then finally in Brackenfell, where we saw them show up in force as an armed mob, marching on with the intent of intimidating, if not assaulting, law enforcement, certainly to intimidate people in the area. And it didn't work for them. So here we see citizens following law, a diverse group of South Africans from all ethnicities who've come together to protest, not to protest, but march for Cape secession. And that's the first one. Now we're going to catch a little bit more from events that unfolded today. What I bring to your attention in this video, this short one you just viewed, is once again the lawful, peaceful assembly of citizens adhering to the law, even with unreasonable constraints, keeping their gathering just 500. These people are not terrorizing, they're not intimidating, they're not threatening anyone. We've got bands playing music, people happy and cheerful, and they're gathering peacefully and lawfully. And I think that's an important thing to pay attention to here, the stark contrast between the angry, race merchant, race-hating bigotry of the Economic Freedom Fighters and this diverse cultural group of black, white, and colored South Africans who are united in their cause. And it's not a cause of hatred, it's a cause of joy. So that's a key difference, and that's the second video. This next one will also be interesting.
and we're here to fight for democracy. And when we say justice, we mean lots of types of justice. We mean moral justice, the justice of doing away with racism, giving people dignity to have jobs and employment and a future for themselves and their children. We're talking about social justice, a country that's better for us all, that we actually finally can do better. And we're talking about criminal justice, so finally we can get on top of crime, we can get on top of gangs, and most topical of all, we can get on top of dirty, greedy, corrupt politicians who are stealing our country and our future from us. And they might think they're getting away with it because they control the authorities, but they're not, because we the people, and we see that you're stealing from us, and we are saying enough. And we're here today to show people that the government works for us. They are our government. We are not responsible to them. They are responsible to us.
In this final clip, folks, what you're seeing is Phil Craig up on the stage speaking to those who remained after the march because they're taking a letter of demands to the mayor of Stellenbosch, demanding that the Democratic Alliance, which is the ruling party there, get their act together, and a whole list of demands about calling for a referendum in South Africa. So that's what this is about. Not a complete clip, but just a little piece of it so you can hear some of the demands that are in the letter.
Cape citizens wish to break away from South Africa and create their own independent state. The Democratic Alliance will call a people's referendum on independence and agree to be bound by its outcome. 2. That in the event of having held a referendum, and where the people of the Western Cape have indicated the desire to break away from South Africa and form an independent state, the Democratic Alliance, as the elected representatives of the Western Cape people, will enter...
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 5th of December, 2020, in South Africa, in the Western Cape, a march from Cloetesville to Stellenbosch for Cape Independence, a collective rainbow group of people coming together, an umbrella organization led by organizers from the Cape Independence Advocacy Group are calling for Cape Secession, Cape Independence. And this group of people included several groups, including the Freedom Front Plus, the Cape Exit Group, the Brown People's Movement, and others who've come together to demand that the Democratic Alliance, which rules in Stellenbosch and in the Western Province, get their act together and put a referendum on the table so that people can vote for independence or against it. That's the question. So what I bring to your attention here, especially from an analytical point, is notice the stark contrast between this behavior and the behavior you see from the economic freedom fighters. Nobody's calling for anyone to murder anyone. Nobody's calling for the assassination. No one's calling for the arson of anyone's property. No one is threatening or intimidating anyone. These people are simply calling for a redress from their government, and they're doing so in a peaceful manner and a proper manner, abiding by the law, wearing their mask, and behaving themselves in a very, very civil fashion. What a stark contrast from the raved lunatic behavior we see from the economic freedom fighters who simply seek to cause chaos and sow racial dissension. This is an incredibly diverse group of people. You saw black, white, and colored South Africans present and participating in this. Folks, thanks a lot for your patronage and your support of the channel. If you're not a subscriber to Chris White Africa, hey, why not become one? Push that button right down there. You can become a subscriber for absolutely nothing. Be sure to toggle the bell icon if you have the YouTube app installed on your mobile. Whenever I do a live stream or prepared video, you should get an update 30 minutes prior to let you know that it's out there so you can watch it. That's how it's supposed to work. YouTube, though, that's what they're supposed to. You were welcome to leave a comment. Nasty comments will be deleted. You'll show yourself. And then I finally ask that you smash the like button. Likes drive viewership. Thank you, folks. By the way, I did get up at, I got about 2 hours, an hour and a half of sleep to get up for this because we are 7 hours behind South Africa right now. So I want to make sure that people got coverage of this because the mainstream media either will not cover it or they'll distort the coverage and they'll probably say some nonsense about white monopoly capital or white racist or some other nonsense like that. And you saw for yourself, the majority of people there were not white people. They're people of color. Whites were a distinct minority. Most of the population, half the population in the Western Cape is colored mixed race, and they are the reason why the Democratic Alliance rules in that region because their support goes to that party. Anyway, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you here next time on Chris White Africa.